Everybody shut up and action. So one battle after another. This is the new Leo DiCaprio movie that I've been looking forward to for a while, and it was mid. Okay, like I will say right from the get-go, this was I wasn't really expecting anything going into this, but it was, even for something I'm not expecting, something completely unexpected. This is a completely new take that I have seen, at least on a family trying to reunite together type of movie. It's a kind of love story, a father-daughter love story, and how they try to reunite together with the past sort of catching up to them. Like, the father has his own past, his own history on things he's done, and that's catching up to him. That leads to him and his daughter splitting up, and now it's a story of the father trying to get back with his daughter and make sure she's safe with him. It's a really unique take on this story. It does touch heavily on modern politics. Coincidentally or not, it's irrelevant. All I know is I've been reading a lot of praise for this movie, and it seems like all this praise comes from one side of the political spectrum, and all the hate I see for this movie comes from people on the other side of the political spectrum. And I'm going like, so all the reviews I'm reading are because these are people who agree with the politics, and these are the people who hate on it because they disagree with the politics. And I'm going like, the politics is a very minor aspect of this movie. Like, why are we talking about politics here? It's a love story, bro. Not a love story, but like a father-daughter reuniting story. Like, what are we talking about politics here? But regardless, we're going to ignore all their opinions and talk about my thoughts, because that's what we do here. We're going to get into some spoilers. This is an absolute interesting movie, okay? I don't want to say, like, it is hooking, because it did not have me at the edge of my seat. It did not have me like that. I mean, at times it did, but like, for the most general aspect of the movie, you're constantly aware that you're watching a movie. It doesn't truly immerse you into it, but at the same time, you're kind of enjoying your experience. It does feel lengthy, that you're like kind of getting tired of the movie and you just want to speed up a little, but at the same time, you are enjoying through the entire watch of the movie. The entire premise of this movie is that you have Leo DiCaprio's character and his girlfriend. They are revolutionaries. They are taking a stance against America in a more violent manner, where they're not actively trying to kill the police officers, immigration workers, all these different police task force members, military members, all these people of these different forces that are trying to deport people or work in other political aspects of dealing with immigration, I believe, and they're taking a stance like, oh my god, we're breaking into this immigration facility, we're freeing all these detainees who are about to be deported and freeing them, and we're going like, Viva la resistance! They're doing an entire resistance thing. Oh, they'll break into banks, they'll shoot the air, they're not actively trying to hurt anyone, but then everything suddenly changed when his girlfriend actually decides to shoot someone, and then that kind of leads to the entire resistance breaking apart. And then you have this entire storyline of how, initially, while breaking into one of these facilities, his girlfriend goes on to try and create this sort of weird dynamic relationship with another white man who worked who was like the head honcho of one of these immigration facilities. And now he's basically doing everything he can, because he doesn't give two craps about his job anymore. He just wants to be with her. So that's an interesting twist on that. And now it's this entire story of that man trying to chase after that girl. Or not even that girl. Like that's also a minor aspect of this story, because he was chasing after that girl for a bit while Leo's with that girl. But then the entire story really goes into this chase down story when he starts chasing after their daughter, because he believes that the daughter of that girl isn't Leo's characters and her daughter. It's his daughter with that girl, because they had that kind of relationship as well. So you delve into the story of the girl. She decides she can't handle being a mother, so it's up to Leo to raise this daughter alone as a single father, keeping his history as a revolutionary away from his daughter. And now they're trying to, and with the past catching up to him, that they're being found out and they have to run their own separate ways, because she decided to go to a prom dance and now she has to run away. His father finds out his daughter's been hunted, and he's trying to find her immediately, because he is practically become a drunk man who's forgot. He's basically become a drunk man who's forgotten all about his past in the resistance, and now that's catching up to him because he's being hunted by the people who are working in immigration and trying to find his wife or something. I forget, actually, because this plot isn't the most memorable thing, but like the key thing is the father and daughter have been separated, and the father's trying to get back in touch with all the people in the resistance because they helped save his daughter, and now he's trying to find his daughter, and he's forgotten all the codes for their own secrecy. Honestly, I'm just confusing myself while talking the plot and trying to explain this entire movie. I don't know why I'm doing that, but like, this movie does really get you talking about the movie itself, because the plot is in itself so unique that you're like, okay, this is really interesting. It's fun, and you see this entire dynamic between Leo, the various resistance people, the entire his wife, his girlfriend, whatever the relationship is. All these relationships are dynamic and unique that really have you hooked to the characters and their story. The story itself is really unique, but it's not the most hooking thing. It is the characters and the dynamics that really do engage you into the story, make you interested into the story in the slightest. You don't really care for the daughter, you don't really care for his wife. You do find the wife and the military man's relation to be like weird and funny and just like, what the heck? But then you're like, okay, Leo has a relationship with her, but she kind of just ditched him. All right, you want to go do your own revolutionary stuff. All right, go do your own revolutionary stuff. Leo, do a good job raising your daughter, and I think you've done a pretty decent job. And now it's this entire story about him trying to find his daughter, and he's willing to go to any length. He's him getting pissed off at the entire resistance for not being able to help him without knowing the password, which he's completely forgotten because he hasn't touched the resistance stuff in ages. It is honestly a really, really funny movie, while at the same time being very serious about this father-daughter relationship and how they're trying to get back together, and all the seriousness surrounding that, and how all of his resistance work has led to him forming a lot of different connections within the entire communities of peoples who were on the verge of being deported, and how while they're still looking out for themselves to make sure they're not deported, they're also looking out for Leo. He's helped them, so they're helping him, and they're willing to do anything, even risking their own deportation, to make sure he's able to help get back with his daughter and make sure she's safe. It is honestly a really intriguing movie that hooks you from that standpoint, and you just throughout this movie, like, you go through various points where you're like, I want to see these two get back together. I don't want to see, like, you don't really feel like you don't want to see them get back together. Actually, you want to see them get back together. You're kind of rooting for them, but like, there are elements where you're just like, I just want to see something happen. And it's not like because nothing's happening. It's more like the movie just feels very lengthy, and the dynamics are interesting and everything, but like, the plot just feels like it's losing itself here and there, and it's like, oh right, you're going to trying to find your daughter, so let's speed things up, and then it just plays with a lot of dramatic irony, and it's honestly just a really interesting watch. It has some really, really funny and interesting dynamics, but one of the really real things that doesn't let you fall asleep throughout this entire movie and just keeps you actively engaged is the beautiful performances, not just by Leo. Leo's performance is absolutely fantastic. Of course, he's always phenomenal with his performances, but every single actor in this movie actually killed their performance, and it just elevates the movie and the entire story and the character dynamics to another level. Of course, that is what acting does, and that's what these guys do beautifully. It keeps you awake throughout this entire movie, interested into the story and the entire character dynamics as a whole. The cinematography in this movie is absolutely gorgeous. People are saying you gotta go watch this movie in IMAX. I did, but like, personally saying, I think this was more of a watch at home type of movie, though if I'm being honest, if I watched this movie at home, I probably wouldn't have actually watched it. If I watched it in theaters, it was probably better for me to go through the entire movie, because it does feel like the type of movie I would stop halfway through and forget to get back into. Not because I'm actually going to stop and say, I don't want to watch this anymore, but because I would say, oh yeah, I'll pause it here, get something else done, and then I'll get back into it, and then completely forget to get back into it because the story didn't really hook me into it. But because I was in a theater, and the theater has its own environment and etiquette that you kind of lose yourself into the movie for, that also allows you to push yourself to watch movies you think you might have stopped normally, and if it was a good movie, you would have actually enjoyed it if you stuck around watching it. And this was one of the cases where you do find yourself sticking around to watch it and end up enjoying it to a degree. And I really liked it. The cinematography is really beautiful, but not something that specifically says you gotta go watch this in a theater. It would be beautiful on my monitors as well. I know you people say, oh, go watch movies in theaters because, you gotta support movies. I don't watch things to support them. I watch movies in theaters because I absolutely love the cinematic experience. I love watching movies in theaters because that is the best way to watch a movie, in my opinion. I love watching on the biggest screen possible, but of course, I'm not rich. If I was, I would go to a theater all the time, or I would build a theater in my home. But I'm not rich. I go to movies in theaters whenever I'm able to. Whenever I am near a theater, I plan my days. Oh, this is a movie I want to watch in theaters. I will make sure next time I'm in an area with a theater, I will plan to get things done and then go watch a movie in the theaters. But the main movies I will watch in theaters are ones with beautiful VFX, the ones that are like heavy on the CGI, or if there's no CGI at all, something that is like heavy on the cinematography to a degree where the cinematography elevates the movie to a whole nother level. I mean, yes, it does it. Cinematography elevates movies in different ways in every single movie, but there is like movies where the visuals just are a big part of the natural story, whereas in other movies like this one, the visuals aren't necessarily a big part of the storytelling as much as the characters are. And in this movie, the visuals are just beautiful that immerse you into the movie, but not so much a big role in the storytelling itself. But you still, the setting design, prop design, everything else in this movie is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know why we started talking about all that. We're talking about one battle after another here, and this movie, it is well made, it is well designed, and the story itself is unique and interesting. It's a unique take on the father-daughter reuniting story, or just a reuniting story in general, and this one was not the most entertaining, but it was an interesting watch. I did enjoy it, and I feel like it's heavily because the performances in this movie were absolutely gorgeous, and Leo just has this charismatic presence on screen that really makes you want to follow his character and follow him and support him on screen through and through. I feel like if he portrayed a villain, he would make you want to actually side with the villain as the protagonist over the actual hero. And that's just his presence as an actor. And this movie, he played it phenomenally, and you really love his character and all the other characters as well. Like, even the military dude with that entire weird relationship dynamic, he was very good with his performance. Like, he was absolutely phenomenal with his performance, that you really get interested in his character as well, and looking into his psyche and why he's behaving the way he is. And it's honestly just an interesting movie in general. It's like not one I'm actively going to want to rewatch anytime soon, maybe not ever, but like it was a good one-time watch, and I did enjoy the movie to a little bit of a degree. I thought it was mid though, but yeah, that's just my opinion on the movie. That's how I liked it. Nothing too great, nothing too bad. And yeah, that's one battle after another. Peace.